Right, you lot, buckle up. Today we're not talking about your grandmother's Morris Marina. We're diving headfirst into the future of transport, where horsepower counts for something, and electric doesn't mean boring. Forget your sensible shoes and your packed lunches because we're off on a wild ride. Flying motorcycles, underwater cars, electric seaplanes, you name it, we're covering it. So put your tray tables in the upright position, stow away your common sense, and get ready for a wild ride. This is the future of transport, and it's more exciting than a greased weasel in a pair of Speedos. Now, who among us hasn't looked at a Ford Transit and thought needs more power? Well, someone out there was clearly listening because they've gone and bolted in a bloody great engine capable of 2,000 horsepower. That's right, 2,000 horsepower in a van that usually struggles to get up a slight incline. This thing, this glorious monstrosity, is called the super van, and it's about as subtle as a brick through a window. It's got 5 different driving modes, from grocery run to Armageddon, and I can only imagine what happens when you unleash all that power. Probably causes a minor earthquake. But here's the thing, as ridiculous as it is, I kind of love it. It's the ultimate expression of why not? It's the automotive equivalent of wearing a monocle and a top hat to Tesco. And in a world increasingly obsessed with sensible electric hatchbacks, we need a bit of lunacy. We need the super van. All right, next up we're ditching the tarmac and heading for the open water because apparently the future of transport involves taking off and landing on the waves. This, my friends, is the world's first electric seaplane, and it hails from the land of Vikings and fjords, Norway. Now, you might be thinking, an electric seaplane sounds a bit slow and worthy, doesn't it? Well, hold your horses, because this thing can hit a top speed of 149 miles per hour. That's faster than a runaway reindeer on Christmas Eve. And it comes in 2 versions, a 2-seater for those romantic sunset flights and a 4-seater for when you need to taxi the entire gnome family. So, if you're the type who fancies themselves as a bit of a Bond villain but with an eco-conscience, this electric seaplane might just be your ticket to aquatic domination. Now, for those of you who prefer their aquatic adventures a little more horizontal, may I present the autonomous solar-powered Catamaran. This thing is like a floating patio, but with the added bonus of not needing to be plugged in. It's fully autonomous in terms of energy, thanks to those lovely solar panels up top, soaking up the sun's rays like a lizard on a rock. It seats up to 8 people, so you can invite all your mates along for a leisurely cruise, and it can reach a top speed of 23 miles per hour. That's not exactly going to set the water on fire, but then again, this vessel is all about relaxation, not speed. Imagine it gliding silently through the water, powered only by the sun, a cool drink in hand, not a care in the world. It's basically the automotive equivalent of a yoga retreat, only without the chanting and the kale smoothies. Right, who remembers that time Richard Branson decided to launch himself into space? Well, it seems he's also got a thing for exploring the depths of the ocean because his latest venture is an underwater plane. And it's not just some pie-in-the-sky idea. This thing actually exists. It's a real-life vehicle that looks like it's been cobbled together from a fighter jet and a shark. It's got a maximum diving depth of about 131 feet, which isn't quite enough to hang out with giant squid, but it's deep enough to give most people a good case of the bends. And the best part, you can actually rent this thing. That's right, for a small fortune, you too can pretend to be Captain Nemo, exploring the watery abyss in your very own underwater plane. Just try not to run into any giant squid, will you? They're notoriously bad-tempered. Now, for our next contender, we're back on dry land, but we're not exactly going for a sensible family saloon. Oh no, we're talking about a trike, but not just any trike. This is the Gamma. Built by the American team at Barguest Motive, this beast is powered by a 2009 Harley-Davidson engine, because what else would you want propelling you down the road at terrifying speeds? And when I say terrifying speeds, I mean it. This thing can shift. It's basically a 2-wheeled rocket with a price tag to match. If you want to get your hands on the Gamma, you're looking at around $200,000. But hey, can you really put a price on looking like the coolest dude at the biker bar? I think not. Just try not to lose your toupee when you hit the gas. All right, let's take a break from the petrol-guzzling behemoths for a moment and talk about something a little more eco-friendly. The Twike 3 and Twike 5 might look like something out of a Tron movie, but these little pods are actually a rather ingenious combination of a bicycle and an electric car. That's right, you can pedal these things if you're feeling energetic, or you can let the electric motor do all the work. And they're not just some gimmick either. These Twikes have some serious range. We're talking up to 311 miles on a single charge. That's further than some electric cars can manage. And if you're feeling really adventurous, you can even get the Twike 5, which has a top speed of 118 miles per hour. Just imagine overtaking a Ferrari in your pedal-powered pod. The look on their faces would be priceless. Remember when we talked about flying cars being the future? Well, it seems the future is now, or at least it is in Japan, because that's where this bad boy comes from. The flying motorcycle. That's right, a motorcycle that can actually fly. It's like something out of Star Wars, only without the lasers and the Death Star. This incredible piece of engineering is the brainchild of a Japanese team who clearly haven't seen enough episodes of Wile E. Coyote. It's equipped with a hybrid Kawasaki engine that provides the power for both the wheels and the rotors. And the best part, it's not just a prototype. This thing is actually available to buy, both in Japan and the US. So if you've got a spare few $100,000 burning a hole in your pocket and a complete disregard for your own safety, why not treat yourself to a flying motorcycle? Just promise me you'll wear a helmet, all right? All right, let's be honest, not all of us are cut out for flying motorcycles. Some of us prefer our transport a little more grounded. But that doesn't mean we can't still have a bit of fun, does it? Enter the Nimbus One, a trike that's been designed for those who want the thrill of a motorcycle with the practicality of a car. It's got a closed cabin, so you can stay dry in the rain, and it's surprisingly affordable with a starting price of around $10,000. Now, it's not exactly going to win any drag races with a top speed of 75 miles per hour, but it will get you around town in style. And with a range of 93 miles, you can even venture further afield without having to worry about running out of juice. So if you're looking for a fun, affordable and practical way to get around, the Nimbus One might just be the ticket. Now, you might think I'm joking, but I'm not. This next one is for those who find horses a bit pedestrian. I'm talking about a motorcycle designed to look like a horse. And no, I don't mean those ridiculous things with fake horse heads on the front. I'm talking about a fully fledged motorcycle sculpted to resemble a horse in full gallop. It's bizarre, it's beautiful, and it's probably completely impractical, but that's not the point, is it? The point is to make a statement, to arrive at your destination looking like you've just ridden in from the set of a fantasy film. And who knows, maybe it'll catch on. Maybe we'll start seeing these things galloping down the motorway. They're riders clad in leather and chainmail. It's a terrifying thought, but also strangely exciting. Well, there you have it. The future of transport in all its weird and wonderful glory. From flying motorcycles to underwater planes, it seems the only limit is our imagination. And frankly, I'm not sure that's a good thing. I mean, some of these contraptions look like they were designed by a committee of 5-year-olds hopped up on sugar. But then again, maybe that's the point. Maybe the future of transport isn't about being sensible or practical. Maybe it's about embracing the ridiculous, the outrageous, the downright bonkers. And you know what? I'm strangely okay with that, because let's face it, life's too short to be driving around in boring old cars, isn't it? So, there you have it. The future of transportation is a wild ride of innovation and, frankly, some questionable design choices. But whether it's a super-powered van or a bicycle car hybrid, one thing's for sure, it's never boring. Until next time, keep your eyes on the road, your head out of the clouds, unless you're in a flying motorcycle, of course, and your feet firmly planted on the accelerator. This is the future, and it's coming at you faster than a 2,000 horsepower van.